What's up with you? For today's video, we'll be full Magic Bounce ability Pokemon team. So we got a bunch of Pokemon there with the Magic Bounce ability. However, the 3 Megas I actually can't have access to at the moment. So I'll be leaving the other 6 to use, which is Natu, Xatu, Espeon, Hatenna, Hattrem, and Hatterene, which is going to be pretty interesting. If you do want to check me out on Twitch, people, this is where I do all my things, my Pokemon sweeps, shiny hunts, all forms of other salty entertainment. Come and check me out there. We got 2 battles with the Magic Bounce ability team, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Now, this first battle is really interesting. This was against Mr. Galsot, and we've got a Magic Bounce versus a Magic Bounce ability Pokemon team. Now, we both brought these teams into the battle, but obviously I wasn't aware that it was going to be this matchup, and it was really funny because our teams are exactly the same. So we got a Natu lead here. I don't really want to stand against this thing with the Espeon because it's not really going to be a good matchup, as you'll get to see in the future. Speaking of future, we got Future Sight coming from Natu there, and I've got this Hatenna. So this is a Nuzzle, Attract, Side Beam, and Dank Pulse there. It's actual like really salty because what you do, right, is you paralyze the opponent with Nuzzle, and then you spam Dank Pulse and try and get a flinch. However, you might be able to get an Attract off too, but in this case, if I go for the Attract, it's going to get bounced back, so I can't really do that. So Natu's going to set up a Trick Room here, which is interesting. I'm going to go for Dark Pulse. It's my best sort of move to go for here. Now, the EV spread, I know you are absolutely wanting to know this, is max health, and I've actually got max speed in this, and Timid Nature. The reason I ran max speed was because even if you do get that Nuzzle off, it's still really slow. The item on that one was Everlight too, and of course, Magic Bounce is the ability. So in comes Xatu there. Natu actually teleported out of the matchup, and we got Xatu coming in with a Toxicol, which is interesting. I'm going to go for a Nuzzle here. It's super effective, but just in case there was a swap there, I wanted to see what sort of Pokemon would come in, and now we got this Xatu going for a Psycho Shift. Psycho Shift is going to shift the toxic status right onto me. So it's pretty funny that with the Magic Bounce ability team, both of us have already had like lots of status already. You know, normally with Magic Bounce, there wouldn't be like too much status. So this is going to be my time to go for the Dark Pulse here. I wanted to see how much it was going to do, and it did pretty good amount of damage. I mean, Xatu's got some reasonable bulk to it too, and I got a flinch. I was like, man, that was actually really good. The only thing is I'm actually poisoned right now, so I'm sort of on a limited amount of time. Then again, so is a Xatu. Now, I'm going to go for another Dark Pulse. I was hoping I could get another flinch and then take it out on the next turn. And I got that super effective damage, and Xatu did not get flinch and it's going to hit me with a Nightshade. So Nightshade does a fixed amount of damage. Now, this is going to be the very last turn for both the Xatu and the Hatenna, so it doesn't really matter what move I use here, both of them are going to be failing. So the Trick Room has run out, Xatu goes for a Confuse Ray, Magic Bounce kicks in, and it's going to bounce it back to the Xatu, and I just went for an attacking move there. Considering both of us were going to be fainting this turn, I don't think it really mattered what moves we used there, but I got trolled by Confuse Ray anyway. It's really interesting to try and make the Magic Bounce ability work too. Now, Side Beam was on there for stab, and was also on there for confusion too. So I had Nuzzle to paralyze, Dark Pulse for flinching, Side Beam for confusing, and Attract for infatuation. It's actually a really like evil set. So that's the end of my Hatenna. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm thinking about swapping in my Natu, but then the other Natu comes in. So it's like, okay, let's swap in the Xatu here. Now this Xatu is probably my favorite set from this team. I have run it in the past. Now, this is a Skill Swap, Swagger, Zen Headbutt, and Drill Peck set. What I want to do here is go for the Swagger. Normally, I'd go for a Skill Swap and give the opponent Magic Bounce already, but, you know, the Xatu already had it. Swagger bounced back, but it missed. I was like, come on, they're really unlucky, you know. I want to get confused because I want to get that, obviously, I want to get the attack rates of Swagger. Now, the item on Xatu is Parasol Berry too, so once I get confused, the Parasol Berry will heal my confusion, and I'll have that +2 attack for free. So it's almost like, you know, Xatu using a sword dance, which will be really cool. Now, the EV spread on Xatu was max speed and max attack. I've got Jolly Nature. It doesn't really get any like physical, like, you know, fighting moves to boost its attack, so I thought it'd be better to run the speed instead, because I could always go for a couple of swaggers if I felt really risky in doing that. So that's going to be the end of Magic Birdie by Natu. I tried to not hurt you too much, and the next Pokemon is going to be Hatenna. So okay, wonder what this set's going to be. So go for the Drill Peck on Hatenna. Very good damage there, but it's got a Focus Sash. Now, what's it going to do? It's going to go for a Nuzzle. I was like, oh, that really sucks. So now my Xatu is going to be paralyzed, so it's going to lose its, its speed advantage. Now, Xatu is going to get hit by a Mystical Fire here. Mystical Fire doesn't take Xatu out, but it still does a reasonable amount of damage. I just went for Drill Peck again, and that is going to be the end of the Hatenna. The interesting thing about Hatenna, I only just noticed this when I was doing my, like a bunch of battles and on the stream. Like, Hatenna's tail is actually his hat, which is kind of cool. So anyway, next Pokemon is going to be Espeon. I'm on an espionage mission. It's going to go for a copycat, and it's going to copycat the Drill Peck that I did earlier on before. That was just mean. Like, I would totally do that to someone. So that's the end of my Xatu. I got critted there. I don't know if that actually mattered, whether it is actually a physical set or is, I don't know, it's just a troll set. But regardless, I'm going to swap in my Natu here. Now, this is a bulky Natu. I've got Protect, Toxic, Nightshade, and Wish. I've got the EV spread as max health and max defense. And I've also got, I think it's Sassy Nature, and I've got Everlight as the item. So this is just a bulky, sort of like a bulky defensive wall here. So I've got Toxic and Nightshade to do some good damage. So in comes a Waifu here. I'm going to go for Nightshade. It's a pretty solid damage there, as you expect. I can't go for Toxic, which sucks, and I can pretty much just keep going for Nightshade over and over. It also can be used as a, a wish passer too. If I feel like Natu's going to be useless in the battle, or, its role sort of used up, I can actually go for a wish and pass it on to another Pokemon, which would be quite handy. So we got the Trick Room set up. It's going to be a physical set from the Hatterene, which is going to be really, really cool. And I'm going to go for Nightshade again. It's Life Orb at the same time. Since the Life Orb actually did a bit of damage there, the Xatu managed to take it out, which is pretty funny. So bye-bye Hattrem. I always get that Hattrem and Hatenna. I always get those mixed up, like all of those evolution lines. They're like so similar. So we got the next Pokemon here as the Hattrem here. And it's going to be a calm mindset. Now, this was really, really interesting. Like, this was it's probably my favorite set on the team. So we're going to keep going for Nightshades here. Obviously, I want to bypass all those nasty calm minds, you know what I'm saying? So swapping Natu out there, and I'm going to go into my Hatterene. Something's got to happen here, people. Got to take that hat right off. So we got another calm minds here on Hatterene. I'm actually just turning my aircon on right now because it is so hot. Like, I know it's Australia and stuff like that, but it actually is generally hot. I'm sweating bullets at the moment. So I've got, this is more of a generic set. I've got Trick Room, Expanding Force, Mystical Fire, and Mystic Explosion. I put Mystic Explosion in there for a bit of fun. And what I did right is I like to use this in Dynamax, so I can make use of Max Mindstorm with the Psychic Terrain up, and then I could make use of Mystic Explosion with the Misty Terrain up. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to really make use of those two things when making this build. I thought it could be pretty funny. But this is where something really, really interesting happened. Like, and I got absolutely trolled here. It was amazing. So going for my Dynamax Hatterene here. It always happens, people always mess up these names. And what I was thinking is, well, I might be able to get a Mystic Explosion up. So if I go for Max Starfall a couple of times and go for Mystic Explosion, I should be able to take this out. So I'm able to outspeed it, which is good there. And very, very good damage out. I'm almost going to take Magical Girl out here. Now, we got the Misty Terrain on the field, and this is where things went wrong, right? So obviously we both got Magic Bounce, and the Hatterene is going to go, Hattrem is going to go for the Draining Kiss, and it's going to get a good amount of health back. So it's like, okay, well, probably the next hit I won't take it out. Trick Room's worn off. Heal Pulse is the move that Hatenna's going to use, Hattrem's going to use. And what I did right, it bounced the Heal Pulse back and healed up the Magical Girl. You wouldn't read about it. So it got all of its health back. And then I'm sitting there like, oh man, this is actually kind of bad. Because when you think about it for a second, this thing could potentially keep spamming Heal Pulse over and over. Like, and just get it like bouncing it back and forth, which is, super, super good against me. And it's got those Calm Minds up at the same time. So I'm spamming Max Starfall, and Desperation is real right now, trying to take this out. I mean, it's still doing all right damage, but man, it can just keep healing itself over and over. So since the Dynamax worn off, the Misty Terrain still feels like, okay, I've got to go for a Mystic Explosion. I've got that extra base power boost. And of course, it's going to go for another Heal Pulse here. And it's going to get itself all the way back to full health, or almost. It was actually really cool how the Heal Pulse animation was sort of like in the air against the Dynamax Pokemon, which was kind of interesting. So going for Mystic Explosion, I had my fingers crossed here for a big critical hit. Like, obviously, I know that it's not going to take it out, but he did pretty good damage considering. So that's going to be the end of Hatterene. So I've got Espeon left, and I've got Natu. So we're going to go into... Oh, I've got one other Pokemon left too, of course. So Espeon is a physical set. This is a Cursed Psychic Fang set with Iron Tail and a Zen Headbutt. So it's not a bad set, but it's not a good set either. So what I'm going to do here is go for Curse. Now, the item on this one is White Herb. I want to retain the speed on this, and I want to give myself an attack. And defense boosters comes along with it pretty nicely. Now, the other move that's got is Stored Power. It still did pretty good damage considering I resisted that, and Espeon's got pretty good special defense. So I've got to take this thing out pretty quick. Sorry, I don't have Zen Headbutt. I've got Psychic Fangs. That was my other move. And I double kick as well. Double kick was my way to boost my attack in Dynamax. And trust me, when you're relying on double kick Espeon and Dynamax, you know you've got problems. So I'm going to hit Magical Girl there with Melmetal's Tail real quick. Does some good damage, and I get a defense drop, so I'm pretty happy about that. Here comes another Draining Kiss, and that's going to take out my Espeon. So things are looking pretty desperate at the moment. Like, Magical Girl has it's been a tough nut to crack, you could say that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Natu. I've got Nightshade for fixed damage, and I'm just going to use that, you know. I'm going to try and take this thing out. So Nightshade almost takes Magical Girl out. I was wondering if it would be a heal or an attacking move. Here comes Stored Power. Stored Power is not going to do too much to Natu. I just went for Nightshade to get a try and take this thing out. I mean, Draining Kiss probably almost would have taken me out there, but with the Everlight, this thing is reasonably bulky too. That was definitely an Everlight Hattrem set for sure. It's probably something like max health and max defense. Now, on the next Pokemon, actually, the last Pokemon's going to be Espeon. It's going to copycat the Nightshade from earlier on, and it's going to take my Natu out. Man, that's actually kind of mean. So bypassing all my major bulk on Natu, right? Last Pokemon, I've got Hattrem, but I'm sad to say, people, I don't have a Heal Pulse set. I've got a Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Sleep Talk, and Rest set. So classic PIMPNITE right there. Now, Espeon's going to go for a copycat, doing a little somersault right there. It's going to go for Nightshade. That's actually going to be able to bypass my boost. So on this moveset, I've got, as the EV spread, I've got max health, and I've got max defense, and I've got bold nature. Everlight as the item, of course. And, you know, it was very, very tanky. Now, I noticed before that none of the Pokemon had Dynamax, so Espeon is going to be the Dynamax Pokemon in this case. I was like, okay, I wonder what other moves it's going to have. Like, what does it? I think we've only seen it use Copycat. Like, I think that's the only move I've seen at this stage it used. I'm sure it's got some sort of Psychic type move. Now, Espeon is going to go for a Max Quake. I'm like, wait, is this Dig? Okay, it's either Dig or it's Mud Slap. I'm not really sure, but both moves wouldn't surprise me. So we got just a little bit under 3 minutes left of this battle too. It was getting quite long, like something else. I'm going to go for the Drain Kiss right here. It does a thumping 2 damage to Espeon, and it heals me up a little bit. You can't complain. Now the Espeon's going to go for a Max Mind Storm. That does a little bit more, and it also puts a Psychic Terrain on the field. But then, you know, this is a very, very bulky build here, so I don't really know what move that is coming from on Espeon as well. Like, it's definitely a troll set, I can tell you that. So I decided here to go for rest. I thought, well, since we're going to get down to, like, the last bit of the battle, I want to make sure I've got lots of health left. I want to see what happens, right? Plus, I need to heal anyway to get some damage on Espeon and stall out this last turn of Dynamax. So we got 2 minutes left of this battle. I get hit by another Max Mind Storm. Doesn't do too much there. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm pretty right at the moment. As long as I can get, you know, another Calm Mind and a couple of Draining Kisses would be great. And I get a rest. I'm like, sweet, that's so useful. So that's the end of Espeon's Dynamax. Didn't really do too much in Dynamax. Then again, I can't talk. I didn't do too much in Dynamax either. Like, I got spammed Heal Pulse. So it's going to go for Copycat, and Espeon goes to sleep. I'm like, well, okay, all right, fine. It's going to try and, it's going to be like a battle here, who's going to have the most health. Now, I've got one more turn left of sleeping, and then I can wake up then and either use Calm Mind or Draining Kiss, one of those moves, right? So I go for Sleep Talk in, hoping I get Draining Kiss, and I got Calm Mind. So like, okay, that's not too bad. My next Draining Kiss is going to have a bit of, you know, thump behind it, hopefully, you know. So getting that boosted special defense and special attack, we got 60 seconds left of the battle left now. Espeon's got one more turn of being asleep. I'm going to wake up, and I just went for rest. I'm like, bugger it, we're both going to go to sleep. Let's see what's going to happen. It's not like I can't attack while I'm asleep anyway. So 40 seconds left, and I can go for Sleep Talk twice. I mean, if I can get one more attack off, that's going to be good for the 20-minute timer, you know? So we've got to always have a 20-minute timer roasting here. So I'm going to go for Sleep Talk here, and hoping, I had my fingers crossed, all the fingers that Hattrem has, and I got Draining Kiss. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And Draining Kiss does some, like, really, really good damage there, like, you know, solid damage. And look at that health recovery, like, so much health recovery. So 10 seconds of the battle left there. We both made our final moves. Espeon went for a Copycat here, and what it's going to do, it's going to Copycat the Draining Kiss that I last used it on. So it doesn't do too much damage to me. Obviously, I've got a lot of Calm Minds up, and, you know, that was the last moves we're actually able to make in this matchup. I was I was fast asleep here, and I just went for sleep talking, and hopefully I could get the Draining Kiss. That's what I was hoping anyway, you know. So I actually managed to get another Draining Kiss, which was really, really lucky. And at this stage, I was confident now that, you know, I had more health than the Espeon, you know. Not only did I do damage to it, I healed myself up. And that was it, my friends. That's the end of the battle. A really, really cool team. I mean, that could have gone on for a very, very long time if we wasn't up to the 20-minute timer and stuff like that. But I really like that Heal Pulse set. That was very, very good. Let's get on to the second battle. This one is against Stally, and we've got Ostoli. And the first Pokemon here we got is a Dunsparce. What is that called? Dumacil? Is this, how do you say it? I don't really know how to say that anyway. So we're going to go for this Xatu lead. Let's go for the skill swap. So in this turn, I'm actually going to have to, you know, give Magic Bounce to the opponent compared to last battle. Now, Dunsparce's got Magic Bounce. It's going to go for Ancient Power. So obviously, it's like a Serene Grace Dunsparce. They're really trying to get that boost. And I'm glad they didn't get the boost. Now, Ancient Power does a lot of damage to me. I'm not going to lie. This was really, really risky. So go for Swagger. It's going to bounce back. It doesn't miss this time, which is great. And I'm going to get a +2 in attack. So things are going pretty nice here. Yeah, Parasite Berry's going to kick in and instantly heal the confusion. Now, I was very, very worried whether H-Power was going to faint me or not, because I was like, well, it's going to be close. And I lived on 5 health. I was like, yes, that's awesome. So I've got my +2 in attack. I went for the Zen Headbutt here, hoping for the flinch. Does amazing damage, but I did unfortunately not get the flinch. But that was a pretty good showcase of the Xatu set. I mean, the problem with that set, right, is you have to give up a turn to skill swap. And, you know, since you're running more of an offensive set, you do take a fair bit of damage. So that's one of the drawbacks of that set, as you can see. But it did very, very well considering. So we got the Dunsparce Swampy out there. I know Hatterene is very scary and stuff like that. And Clefable's going to come in. I popped the Psybeam, hoping for a confusion. I mean, it didn't do good damage to Clefable because it had leftovers, and obviously it's kind of a weak move and I don't have any special attack EVs, but I tried to go for a confusion and it failed. So swapping Hatenna out, I might be able to use it, you know, sometime else in the battle. So swapping a Natu, it's a Meteor mashing Clefable. I hope it doesn't get it like an attack raise, and it didn't get one. So okay, this is is it a fully physical fail? I don't really know. So I went for Toxic. I want to see what its ability is going to be. Does it have Magic Guard? You know, does it have Unaware, stuff like that? I want to know what its ability is. So now Clefable's going to go for another Meteor Mash here. It's not really doing too much to Natu, but I just really hope that they don't get an attack boost, because, you know, that's going to start to do a lot, especially if it uses like a, you know, stab move. Now Clefable's going to swap out. It's got Magic Guard, obviously, and the next Pokemon to come in is going to be Electivire. So I'm like, okay, incoming electric move, like 1,000,000% right. So I'm for Nightshade again. That was the move I went for Clefable on the swap. Now, I wasn't really sure if they go for a status move here or go for an electric type move. I risked it and stayed in, and then went for a T-Bolt. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not going to live that because I don't have any special defensive investment. And, you know, this thing is jacked up with Life Orb. You know, it's probably got max special attack and max speed Life Orb. So, you know, definitely not going to live that. So swapping into Hatterene now, I got a Quick Claw Trick Room. It's absolutely incredible. I'm still going to go second. Now, Electivire is going to go for a Thunderbolt. And man, look at the damage that did to me. That wasn't even super effective. So I've got the Trick Room up here, which is good. And now I actually did contemplate about going for Dynamax right here, but I was like, nah, you know what I'm going to do this time? I actually really want to Dynamax my Espeon, you know? I want to go for that Dynamax Espeon and really, you know, put that double kicks to work, you know what I'm saying? So next Pokemon is a Alola Executive. What is that called? Coco Wee? Coco Pops? I don't really know how to say that. So it's going to go for an Endure. You wouldn't read about it because I went for a Misty Explosion. Oh, man. So I thought Misty Explosion would be good and take it out in one shot. It would have taken it out in one shot, but it had the Endure there. Like, all the coconuts should have fallen off at that point, right? So I wonder what happens to a lower Executor. Yeah, heck, what even happens to Executor when its coconuts fall off? Because it wouldn't have a head then. Like, let's logically think about that. Like, what actually would happen? So anyway, it's going to have a Custard Berry, Dragon Hammer, and Hattrem is able to live that one very, very well due to its incredible bulk of max health and max defense with a Everlight. I just finished it off with an attacking move there being my Draining Kiss and bye-bye Executor. I was very mean there using Endure when I used my Misty Explosion. Now, this was a threat. Next Pokemon's going to be Walrein. Now, I was thinking, well, I might be able to make my Hatenna set work here. I might be able to get the Nuzzle, the Flinch, the Confusion, all that sort of stuff going. Maybe, you know, it was risky. Then it used Sword Dance to the swap. Like, uh-oh, this needs to be shut down like ASAP, because Warren's got a bit of bulk to it too. So it's going to go for Icy Sphere. It's a scumbag, or it could be a King's Rock set, you never know. And it's going to go for 2 Icy Spheres, doing a lot. I'm very, very thankful that I only used like 2 of them, because that was doing a lot. So I got to paralyze the Warren there, which is going to be very handy. Now I was like, let's go for Attract and let's see what it's actually got. And I was hoping that it would have Thick Fat, but it's got Oblivious instead. So yes, that's going to be the end of my Hatterene. I was pretty much, my strategy was sort of counter there. I couldn't have done much damage. I mean, I could have gone for Dark Pulse, but all I had to do was hit me with 1 move. So I was pretty much countered there by its ability. Very good ability, Oblivious. So at this stage, it's like, well, I've got Hattrem left, which is going to take a lot of work with Calm Mind. Warren's going to go for another Sword Dance to get through that. I absolutely have to go for Espeon as my Dynamax. So since Espeon does get Double Kick, I'm going to take full advantage of that and go for a max Knuckle Off Double Kick. This set was actually surprisingly good. I mean, any sort of boosting moves always good. So go for the max Knuckle there. Does quality damage to Warren. Now, Warren's pretty thick, you know what I mean? And Warren will probably hit me very hard here, I was thinking, even in Dynamax. So I had to go for that. Liquidation would have easily one-shotted me. Easily. Look at the damage it did to me in Dynamax. So popping 2 max Knuckles, and that's enough to take out, what was its name? Walrusaurus or something? I'm not sure. Let me read that name again. Racer? I'm not really sure how to say that. Anyway, it must be, it's going to be French, isn't it? I'm probably going to be wrong about that. Anyway, so we got a Dynamax. Wait, is this Dynamax Dunsparce? No, it's not Dynamax Dunsparce. It is Dynamax Clefable. Now, Clefable actually is a good Pokemon at Dynamax against my Espeon. However, I actually had Iron Tail on this set because let's be real here. If you've ever used a physical Espeon, it's very, very limited on the physical side and it's trash. So let's go for Iron Tail. Look at the damage it did. That was very, very good. And Clefable's actually going to go for a max Steel Spike as well, because obviously they're going to try and raise his defense with the Meteor Mash. That's what the movie's saying earlier on. But the good thing is I did so much damage to it and I almost took it out. So I know this is my last turn at Dynamax, but I potentially can take this Clefable if I don't get too unlucky. That's what I was worried about, because I was like, well, if I go for Psychic Fangs, I feel like Clefable's going to live. It's got +1. I absolutely have to go for Iron Tail here. It did miss, and the big Pixie is going to be no more. So I'm very, very happy about that, because a lot of times I miss with Iron Tail, because it's actually is trash. It's very, very shaky. So bye-bye, Clefable. It was nice knowing you. Next Pokemon's going to be the Dunsparce, Dumbassaur. I took it out with the 1 double kick. That's all it took. Just 1 good kick. Bye-bye, Dunsparce. I know that was a bit cruel. We got 1 more Pokemon left here, and it's going to be Flop. That's a fire Pokemon. Oh, we got like an evolution battle here. I popped the Psychic Fangs at +2. It absolutely dumpstered the Flareon in 1 shot. And that, all my friends, is the both of these battles. Hope you really enjoyed them. A really fun ability to do as well. Okay, people. Peace out.